Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Cryptid Podcast. My name is Roger Morse. Listen, there's a lot of videos out there on like the world is ending and can't trust our government, can't trust individuals in our government, which I do believe to be true. You know, one thing about this is that, if you believe in Jesus Christ and you're saved, then you know a lot of this is to come to pass by the readings in the Bible in the last days, famines, man turned against man, father turned against son, son turned against father. A lot of evil stuff is happening in this world because we as people have gone away from what is right or wrong. It's like I've never had a problem in my life of allowing people to believe in what they believe in because a lot of people come from different backgrounds and different countries, and their religions is totally different than what we see, but I do have a problem with religions that somehow says, well, that they're going to heaven for killing Americans, and over here, some of our people in our United States will tell people, well, you're going to hell because you killed the enemy. I don't know about a lot of that. It's like, I was born November 11th, 1965. So I was born into war, and that just leaves me with a lot of thoughts and wondering. I've read a lot of books on the Vietnam War, had some family that served in the Vietnam War, and it's just wrong the way people did people when they come home. The last person that needs to be homeless on our streets is the American veteran, period. These people sacrificed their lives to give us our freedom, and the fact that it wasn't a choice that they made, it was the fact that we had a draft. And they drafted you in. See, I'm old enough to know about a draft because I had to sign a draft card when I turned 18. And now, from what I understand, the draft's coming back in December of this year, and you ain't gonna have a choice of whether you're gonna sign it or not. It's gonna be probably computer drawed out, which I'm all right with that. We gotta protect our country, but the thing about it is a lot of people ain't because they don't know what true freedom really cost. See, freedom wasn't free, or freedom never was free. A lot of people claim like, well, I got my rights and I got my privileges. Well, those rights and privileges are responsibilities. They're not really just a give me, And I'm grateful to be alive today at 60 with everything that goes on in this world. But listen, man, it's like, they're calling for blood in our own streets. These people's got this government wrapped around their heads so damn much on both sides of the aisle that they decided that, hey, we're going to march upon these motherfuckers. You got these dudes over hollering 57 million Americans with guns headed towards the White House, and you got these guys hollering, well, we got this so many guns, and you're an idiot for voting for Trump. You're an idiot voting for Biden. Let me tell you something. Let's go back to 9/11. Let's just turn the wheels back here a little bit. 9/11. It probably goes clear back into the Vietnam War even. Well, 9/11. I was working in E-Town, Kentucky, hanging sheetrock in a house that was newly built. I had made a phone call that day. My wife at the time told me that one of the trade centers had went down. it scared me. I loaded my crew up in the truck. We left. We made it back home. I took my kids out of schools, which they did not want me to do at the school, but I did it anyway. You know, because I wanted my family home. And when I got home and sat down and actually could sit down and watch the TV, then I got to see the second tower go down. Now I want to tell a little bit about Bush right here for a little bit. I'm a straight up Republican. I love the Republican Party, and or what it used to be anyway. Today I'm more undecided in how I'm going to vote than any time. But the thing about it is, here it is. We got a President Bush giving that dude over there 3 days to turn himself in. You know, these people was jumping up and down in the streets that they had blowed up these American towers and killed, I don't forget how many people killed, in the thousands of people they killed. You know, my heart and soul goes out to all those American families who suffered that loss. You know, from that day on, it changed my reality into understanding that our country is not above being bombarded. Our country is not above seeing war on its own soil. You know, and it just, you know, the thing about it is, it's like I don't know why Bush decided that. Why not bomb the hell out of them? Because people holler it's an act of war, it's an act of treason, or it's charges. It's like if you kill somebody during the wartime, then you're charged for something, you know. I can't even think of the word right now. Maybe it's me just venting a little bit, but you know, let's roll it forward. Now the Democrats, what opened the border, what started everything, this free trade agreement done by Clinton. You know, and everybody just thought that was the end of the world right there. And sure enough, by the time it gets around to the presidents we've had for the last 12 years, it's been proven true. Our borders were wide open, left unprotected, and you seen what happened. Now we got people in this country, we don't even know who the hell they are. And that, you know, I'm not saying that not every one of them are bad people, because that's not true. There's probably some good people that sacrificed everything just to get over here to have a chance at freedom, you know. You know, let's turn it back to the Vietnam War. There's a book called Bloods. If you never read this book, I highly suggest that you do. And this goes out to all the African American soldiers that served for the United States of America. I hear your pain. I understand your pain. After reading that book and looking what these reconnaissance people, squads, had to go through, being staked out and skinned alive, grub worms eating on them, ants eating on them, varmints eating on them until they was dead. And when the American soldiers finally caught up with some of these groups, they was begging us to kill their own. You know, so that's the reason why I say it goes back to Vietnam even, you know. War's not pretty, folks. War's not pretty. It's not supposed to be pretty. Now, let's go on to Obama. This is what I got to say. You know, really, Obama is the biggest joke of a president we ever had in our lives, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, Hillary Clinton. You know, she really thought she probably should be president then, you know. And by right, she probably should have, you know. But here's the thing about Obama that people don't understand. He kept his worst enemy close to him, which was Hillary Clinton, was his worst enemy. Period. I don't blame him. I would have gave her a job too. Plus, he needed a fall guy for anything that goes bad, like these fucking phone calls and emails and shit like that. He needs somebody to take that fall. Yeah, that woman's wrapped up nuts, period. bless her heart, she just don't know. I don't believe she's ever been taught any other thing in politics in her life, you know. And I wouldn't wish that upon nobody, you know. So let's go to Biden. Biden legally is named as a president, which we all know Obama run the show on him. You know, we know it. We knew it from the day he was hid in his basements and wouldn't come out, do nothing because of COVID. Well, look at him now. He's about dead. You know, he suffers from cancer. Sorry for that. That's suffering. That's suffering. You know. You know, now let's run up here to Trump. Everybody's like on Trump's ass and everything. It's like, and be honest with you, when he first started running, I supported him 110%. I don't support him as much today because I feel like he's lost contact with what's really good for America. And don't get me wrong, it's good for people to work and pay their bills and go to school, learn right from wrong. That part of him I like, you know. But the thing about it is, it's like, you know, I can't believe in ideology. And it's like, when a man goes into the White House and paints everything gold and hangs gold up all over the place, that's ideology. That's not a true Christian. I'm sorry about it. Just not. Like, I've supported every president where I've liked him or not. Have I always liked any of them? No, I haven't liked everyone we've ever had that I can remember, you know. And, you know, it must be the worst job in the world to have, to be fair to these people that's been in office. It's just got to be the worst job in the world to have. Because you're going to get nitpicked. You're going to get blamed. Everybody's upset, you know. And America doesn't change right now. You got to understand, see people hollering, well, they're taking this or taking that. We got flock paymers everywhere. Well, flock their ass is the way I look at it. You know what I mean? You're messing around with fucking aliens and cryptids, and I do the same. This is a cryptid channel. I'm not knocking people that does that. But the thing about it is, it's like, you know, don't be coming up in here and saying cryptids and aliens are our friends, because they're not. They're pure evil. You know, I've learned from my own experience in having a cryptid experience that there's nothing pleasant about it. And mostly it's life-changing. You know, there's one thing, just remember this, folks, is, you know, everybody says, well, they leave them apples and, I don't know, honey buns and whatever the hell they're doing. You know, they leave all this shit laying around and say, well, they come and got it. Well, let me tell you something about being a thief. If I was a thief and you laid me a gold coin out every day, I would come and get that gold coin. Might leave you a rock, might not leave you nothing. So think about that for a minute. You know, this world I'm not here to really even discuss the president. I'm here to discuss what's right and wrong as far as people go, as far as people's morals. You know, it's like you know, as far as the gay and trans and stuff like that, from when I've read the Bible and stuff, it told me not to judge them. Any one of those people can be saved. They really can. There's some very strict rules. God said man don't lie with man, woman don't lie with woman. So, you know, you can take that for what it is. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I'm just telling you what the scripture said, you know. And it's like, you know, but we still have a choice here as people. We still have a freedom. People hollering, well, if you think you can vote your way out of this, you're crazy. Well, you might be right, but you might be wrong, you know. We don't need to walk down the streets of Washington, D.C., you know, or take our government to change it. when the people start changing back to what they know right from wrong, because see, all this stuff started when they started taking God out of the schools. Started taking the mention of Jesus Christ offends people. Let me tell you something. This is America. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ with all my heart and soul. He is my Savior. He's my one true King. I don't need no other ones. There ain't no other ones. It's bull crap. You know, I don't allow you to believe what you believe in because that's your God-given right to do so. God gave us all free will to decide how we're going to do it, whether we're going to believe in Him or not. So see, at the end of the days, when we all come to judgment, we can't really complain too much about it. It's like, hey, we had a choice, but we chose to feel good over for the long-term peace in our souls. You know, I'm very grateful to be alive today, really am. By all rights, I should be dead years ago. If you live the lifestyle I did years ago, a lot of them ain't surviving today that live that type of lifestyle. They're dead. You know, I'm grateful, very grateful. I hope that everybody finds peace. I hope you find love. I hope you find joy. But remember, folks, it's left up to us, the American people. We still got a right to vote. Let's don't look at each other as Democrats, Republicans, gay, not gay, what's so gay, brown, yellow, purple, who gives a shit? We're all people, we all bleed red. You know, when we, the people, stand up against this government and start voting these people out, we want a change in our laws that says we can vote them out if they're not living up to what they're saying they're doing. We need that type of law in our country. We need it in our nation. You know, there's one thing about this nation right here is going to pass too. Don't think anything about it. Bible done told us. So this country right here is going to disintegrate at some point. There ain't no way around it, you know. It's like when I look at it, when I look at everything going, I think back to the Bible and I pray to God for forgiveness every day, you know. I think about, you know, how this book was written thousands of years ago, and beyond, and tells us in Revelation, Daniel, there's a couple more books that you can check out in the Bible. It talks about the end times. You know, I've always been a believer. People always told me growing up, said, well, you need to read John first, you know. And I'm like, well, after I growed up reading the Bible some, it's like, I think you really need to read Revelations first to try to understand what that says so you can go back and start reading the Bible and understand every bit of it. You know, it's an eye-opener. It's a heart stopper. It puts fear in men, but it's truth. And the Bible's done revealed itself. The Bible's done revealed itself almost completely. And, you know, I don't know why I'm posting this, but it's like I just seen a lot of videos of hatred towards each other. Just pure hatred towards each other. And I'll promise you one thing. There ain't nothing moral about it, and there ain't nothing godly about it. So y'all have a great day, and love you.